Governor Steve Sisolak made us all prisoners in our own homes. The MGM Resorts guy, Jim Murren, raises $2 million in 48 hours with his task force, which is very positive. And you might be able to book hotels on May 1st after the stay at home, don't leave your houses, you're now prisoners. And of course, I'm using hyperbole, so don't dislike the video. We'll explain that in a minute, is lifted. But should you, and how can you protect yourself if you book a trip and all that gets canceled? We'll get to that towards the end of this video. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. It's very windy, but I love the outside natural light, and I will be hit in the face by palm trees, the lengths I go through to make these videos for you guys to stay updated. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not something special. I'm just a guy with a camera. But make sure you like, share, subscribe the videos, hit the bell for future notifications, and also comment below if the National Guard gets called out in your state. Are you flipping out, or are you okay with that, especially considering the circumstances? And we're going to explain everything right now. If you want to be on the credits of the video, go over to Patreon. If you guys want to see the videos I can't put on YouTube because there are content restrictions on what you can actually talk about, some of that stuff in Sin City is too hot for YouTube, you can do that too. But if you can't afford it, I totally understand. Nobody has any money right now. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and share this somewhere. Somewhere people can get an idea of what's going on in the world. It might help them and their brain keeps straight. If you know somebody, it might help them out. Who knows? Gives them something to watch that's not Frozen 2 with their kids. All right, so Governor Steve Sisolak, he has tightened it up. We're taking the belt. We're tightening the belt, everybody. So we now have a new order. It's stay in your houses unless absolutely necessary. Now, no, we're not locked in our houses as prisoners, but in a way we are. I was at a gas station just this morning, and somebody said that a police officer actually followed her to her place to work. Because under the governor's new orders, you're not supposed to go anywhere unless it's literally your job, groceries, or maintenance, or recreation. So those are the 4 things that you can now leave your house for here in the state of Nevada. All right, I understand. We have to make sure that everybody's protected. That's cool and all, but the governor is really tightening it up because I think why he's doing it, and I think why they didn't explain it would make a lot of sense if they explain things, but they don't explain things. That's the first airplane I have seen over this house in weeks, and I'm glad to see it coming in. I think what they're looking at is the peak. Now, a couple of days back, they came out with the numbers for the peak. They said the peak would be in Nevada about April 20th to April 21st. In the last few days, it's gotten a lot more dicey out there. There's a lot of reports of some serious incidences happening here with people getting sick and getting hurt and getting injured and ending up in intensive care. Just last night, somebody hit me up on Facebook, and he said, hey, Steven, be careful out there. This person I know in Vegas, who's some popular Facebook person, I don't know who it was. He sent me a picture from his phone without a name. He's got it, and he's in the ICU. Whoa, that sucks. I don't like being cooped up. You know, I make little secret trips out of the house, but I'm going to minimize that and follow the governor's orders. But the National Guard has also been called out. So they said in one report that it was mainly to deal with food issues and supplies to hospitals, but it could also be because they want to make sure that people aren't going anywhere. I also had a friend of mine who is the person who tipped me off on a number of things say that they don't want anybody on the strip right now. They're cleaning those hotel rooms. They're trying to do it clandestinely, stay off the strip at night, and it looks like that has been extended to stay off the strip at all times. Don't be out of your house. So you can still go out of your house to walk around the neighborhood. There's no cops around here. What are they going to do? But they might be really, really hard on you, like following you to work if they don't suspect you're actually going to work. So if you're going to that big, huge party at a house party that somebody's secretly having, first of all, don't go to that house party. What are you, ridiculous? Have you not been watching the news for the last few months? Come on, man. But if you are, make sure you look like you're going to your job. Maybe you want to report into your job and then play hooky. I don't recommend you do any of that. That's just bad jokes. That's the first thing. That's pretty serious. The second thing is this. Hey, guess what? The hotels are taking bookings on May 1st. Question is, would you even go if you had the ability to? And that's a big thing. But we'll get to that in a second. The other thing is, Jim Murren. I got to cut the guy some slack. About 6 years ago, seems like 6 years ago, maybe it was 6 days ago or 16 days, all the time is running into each other because every day is exactly the same. To quote the great American poet Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, I believe I can see the future because I repeat the same routine every day is exactly the same. Doesn't it feel like that to you? Feels like that to me. Anyways, I said, why would you put him in charge of this task force? This makes no sense. Well, to his credit, he managed to raise $2 million worth of value or money. It was unclear. In just, wow, a second plane. Look at that. In just 2 days, 48 hours. He went out for a private-public partnership, which I've said in the past definitely work. And they went to all the different companies in town where he has connections because he was the CEO of one of the biggest corporations on the planet. And he asked companies like the Sands Corporation for masks and different supplies and gloves because they're not using them right now. What are their janitorial staff doing? Pretty much nothing, right? And they got $2 million together. That's good. I don't know how much of it was money. I don't know how much of it was in materials of supplies, like to say this box of gloves is worth $10 and we put that towards the total number. And I would really like to see some government accounting. I would love to see how much of it is cash, how much of it is supplies. But I think it's good. All this money is not going to the folks like you or me. It's not going into the state. It's going into fighting the whole entire situation. So hospitals that might need it, the Valley, Southern Nevada Health District that might need it. That's a good thing. Props and credit out there. I'm not above making a retraction when somebody does something good, and I gave them a little bit of heck for heading a company that laid off thousands of people over the last year or two, but that's a good thing. Lastly, we get to the idea that you can book your hotels May 1st here in Nevada. Should you even do that? I don't even know. The EDC was actually moved to October, and I was always telling people, use two things as the bellwether, bell ringer. Use two things as the harbinger. Okay, that's a better word. The EDC and the World Series of Poker, both mega huge events that take up a ton of hotel rooms and a ton of resources in the city. If those get moved, you might look at that not being the date to come back. So the EDC should have taken place, I believe, mid-May, if not the end of May. It's been moved to October. At the same time, the hotels are trying to take reservations on May 1st. So whether or not you book, that's up to your sole discretion. I'm not here to tell you which way you should spend your travel dollars. If you have the cash to spend, spend it. I guess I want to see you come back. The city's lifeblood is the casinos, but I want to see everybody be safe. Now, the state thinks that this is all going to peak April 20th, April 21st. Does that mean that 9 days later it's safe haven? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not some kind of immunologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy with a camera. But I will tell you this. If you are going to book, a few things to keep you safe, okay? Number one, book on a travel website where you read the fine print and see what their cancellation policy is like. If they give you 2 weeks to cancel, that's good. If they give you 5 days to cancel, even better. If it's something like Expedia, you can use that too. I don't know what the Vegas.com return and refund policy is, but if you want to use that, click on the description below. If you use my link to Vegas.com, they pay a small commission to this channel, and it's no charge to you. You don't pay any extra, and you still get the same good deals. If they have a good return policy, then use a cancellation policy, then use them. Use a credit card that you can book on that might have some kind of protection against these kinds of things. There's several good ones out there. If you're blessed enough to have a good credit rating, you might have an American Express card. They're usually good on that. Call your credit card company to ask them that kind of stuff. Buy travel insurance if you're thinking of traveling here and you're coming from out of the country. I don't even know if you can come from out of the country right now, but maybe you can. And always want to look at doing that. And then also make sure you watch news channels on YouTube or go on to the local news websites. Just type in Vegas media companies, and you can do that on the Wikipedia, Vegas TV stations, and you can see what all of them are. And check the local news and see if the governor is doing anything to extend any kind of travel bans, any kind of advisories, any kind of stay-at-home narratives, any kind of non-essential bans. Because if those gets banned past May 1st and you booked your trip for May 2nd, you may be in a world of hurt not knowing until the last minute when that possible cancellation policy has lapsed, and you might lose your money. And I don't want to see you lose money, especially right now when nobody has any money. That's what that's all about. Or you can just come back to this channel. I'll be talking about extensions on the non-essentials. I'll be talking about all this stuff on a daily basis for y'all right here. Coming up in a future video, we're going to be talking about Cirque du Soleil, whether or not they can actually stand to withhold this storm. I think they're going to go bankrupt in probably 8 to 12 months, but that doesn't mean they won't operate anymore. Bankruptcy is complicated. We'll explore that in a future video. And if you guys want to reach out to me, you can always do so in my email. You can go over to the Patreon if you're a member and message me there. You can also hit up the Facebook group, Not Leaving Las Vegas. You can also like, share, subscribe this video, and I appreciate y'all watching, sharing, and liking out here on a windy day in Las Vegas where we have springtime weather, beautiful 70-degree day. I wish you were here with me. I wish we were under different circumstances, but be safe out there. If you're sheltered and locked into place, send us a message if you guys want to chat, and let's strike up a nice conversation in the comments. Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. The credits are going to roll, and I appreciate your time with me here. So 3, 2, 1, third airplane. I wonder why there's so many of them. And click.